Summer is almost over. We can't avoid that. I don't really know how I feel about that yet. I'm honestly excited for my junior year and I'm gonna try and carry that motivation for as long as possible, but it's gonna be rough. Like I can say that much. Anyway, I have to start acting a little bit more confident because in today's video, I'm gonna show you guys how to become your full potential academically, how to embrace school and maybe even enjoy it like I do sometimes. I feel like I have to qualify myself first. There's not much on that front, but my name's Sayla. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I would like to say I'm a pretty good student. Low-key like a self-proclaimed academic weapon. I took 2 APs last year. I'm taking 5 this year. I'm also low-key the president of a study club. We're gonna be stronger this year. We're gonna come back better than ever. Anyway, thanks for clicking on this video. It's probably been a roller coaster ride so far. If you're entering high school, which is kind of who I'm making this video for, since I'm only a junior, it's not like I have a ton of experience, but I have been in high school for 2 years. So I feel like I've wrapped my head around the idea of it, and at this point, honestly, I'm preparing more for college than I am focusing on how to succeed in high school. So let's go crazy here, okay? I first want to talk about the apps and websites that I use that like just help me be the most productive and also like maintain everything that I've learned. So a lot of these apps are like note-taking apps or like organizational tools that like help me keep my brain in check, because if I didn't have like access to the internet, I don't feel like I would remember half as much as I do with access. The first app that I recommend is Notion. So Notion is like low-key so intimidating at first because in my mind, it's like transferring how my brain organizes things onto a website and then just making it extremely detailed, which for some people, I know they only like to do minimal things on Notion. My Notion is stacked. I actually just kind of like crafted my Notion for this year because my old one got deleted. Notion is great. You can also use templates that other people have made so you don't have to feel like a coding genius when you're trying to put it together. You can literally just use like free templates and they're all really good and aesthetic and stuff, so that's not really a problem. I use that for my individual classes, and I also use it for YouTube for like to track my reading and writing goals, and I also do it to keep notes on different colleges that I'm interested in and like the stats that are required for those colleges, just like minor details like that. Not that it's a minor detail, it's gonna be like all that consumes my life next year, but whatever. Then I have Todoist. For both, you can make to-do lists on, but Todoist, genius name, by the way. I like to use that for more like specific days, while Notion I use for long-term goals because I feel like Notion for me is like a yearly tracker. I like to reset it every year, but Todoist I think is more of like a weekly short-term tracker. So you can obviously separate groups of goals that you have. I do it by class, and then it's basically just a notes app, but I like the format better. It feels smoother, and my notes is just for like my brain dump, honestly, and I like having my brain dump and then my actual goals separate. Another app recommendation I have is Otter. So I actually just got this app, but I've been using it, like just trying it out and stuff, and I really enjoy it. Basically what you do is you press play on a lecture and it'll both record and give you a transcript of the lecture, and it can also, I think it can also like reorganize your notes. That might be like a premium feature, but it can kind of summarize potentially a complex, why'd I almost say sermon? I need to go back to school. A complex lecture. Yeah, okay, so Otter is fantastic. I love it so much. And then, give me one more sec because I forgot the name of this one, but it was literally my saving, yeah, babe. It was my saving grace during exam season for AP Macro. Frick, what's it called? I'm gonna find it and I'm gonna put it here, the name. But basically, you can find any YouTube video, any paper, any file on the internet. You can plug it into this engine and it's gonna summarize it completely in Word format, like with supreme organization skills, which I do not have, so I rely on this app heavily for that. And it's like an AI tool. Okay, those are all my main websites and apps. If I think of any more, I'll totally link them in the description, but moving on. Next, we have study methods. This is one of my favorite topics, not gonna lie, because I feel like a huge difference between freshman and sophomore year for me was my study habits. In freshman year, I would pretty much just take notes and then look over the notes, which does almost nothing for your ability to recall information. But then in sophomore year, I was like, okay, something is off. Like, and it honestly, it kind of sucked because I just felt like I was a little bit dumb for not being able to retain anything. But I did some research into like the best study methods for actually retaining information and not just understanding it once. And so the main study methods that I got out of that little researching party were active recall, the Pomodoro timer, and rewording. So for active recall, essentially what that is, oh, period! Guys, I'm starting a little Depop empire and I'm trying to sell my clothes. Oh, never mind, it was just a dumb notification. Oh yeah, so active recall. Essentially what you're doing is, yes, I take notes during classes. I also use Otter a ton to kind of take those notes for me. I'll read over them once and kind of just like get it fresh in my brain. And I do my best to reword it, and it sounds corny, but I would literally like talk to my wall as if I were teaching somebody else the same content, and it just sticks in your brain so much better. But when you can teach somebody else something without failing, then that means that you truly know the content. So that's one thing that I do. Sometimes I make my parents like listen to me explain things, or if I have a presentation, I'll just go over the presentation, but based off of my own memory to know, do I truly know the content? You know what I mean? That's kind of how I test myself. But obviously, like, you can't go from reading a page to teaching somebody the page. So what I do is I will read a page and then I'll go over it in my brain. I feel like that's a very, like, underused tool. No way, I just said our brains are underused tools. Okay, next up is the Pomodoro timer. So this one is a great love of mine. What I do is I just look up on YouTube Pomodoro and I click on the most aesthetic one. And what it does is it gives me either 30 or like 45 minutes of work and then maybe 10 to 15 minutes of break time. And then for me, it's just the perfect breakdown of time that really allows me to be productive and then take a little bit of a scroll break, because I can't just completely block out my brain that only is satisfied by short form content and has like zero attention span anymore. And then I put reword. I don't really know what that means. I guess just like reword. Moving on. I need to preface this because it's gonna sound like that's not the intent, okay? I never want to be like maniacal in a school scenario unless I'm like in a villain arc or something. That would be fire. Anyway, my number one general tip, unfortunately, is to, I'm not saying glaze your teachers. I'm saying get to know them. Like, so often we go into classes like that and we just expect our teachers to be terrible. But I feel like that's because we think of it as not really a give and take situation, but just, I'm gonna do mid work for you and then I better get good grades for it. Don't be closed-minded, especially like on the first day of school. I made a ton of impressions, hopefully good ones, with a lot of my teachers last year, and that lasted me like throughout the school year. Like I don't have a single teacher that I would say I have a bad relationship with. And I think that that has really helped me, yes, understand their teaching style, but also, I'm not gonna lie, it does have something to do with your grades. So as long as you're keeping up a respectful and kind attitude, it's gonna help you a lot, not only with your grades, but also recommendation letters, things like that. I feel so freaking slimy saying that, but it's totally true. You have to be a well-rounded student. Hey Google, stop. Bruh, we need sleep so much more than they act like we do. Like, focus on that 8 to 10 hours, and I'm telling you, it's gonna be good for you. I'm taking first period off this year so I can get an extra hour of sleep, and I am so happy about it. I don't even know what this is anymore. I feel like it's just... Another general tip that I have is get noise canceling headphones or earbuds. I have been eating lunch in the library especially during the end of exam season, just because I really needed to pass, and I was taking an online class, an AP online, that I did not think I was gonna pass, but I did. I got a 4. Let's go. Yeah, so having those noise canceling headphones, especially in the media center, it's just a game changer. Like, it allowed me to just lock in for 30 minutes, have a little snack. I honestly didn't miss lunch that much, especially not lunch that year. That was rough. Frick, now I'm free balling because I don't have any more notes. Give me a sec. Okay, I'm back. So, my newest tip is you have to like romanticize everything. And when I first heard that, I was like, it just felt cringe to me, but it's honestly true. Like, I had a huge Gilmore Girls phase, and I think Rory's work ethic got me through maybe like a month that school year. It delayed the crash out, we'll say that. But living in Florida, it's a little bit difficult to feel like it's fall, but like, you better believe I was wearing a sweater every day. I went to school feeling cozy. I had my earbuds in. I was locked in. I had friends, but I mean, I had, but they weren't the only thing on my mind when I was going to school, which sounds kind of sad, but like, yeah, it's school. I want to learn. Next, I have invest in good study resources. So there's a lot. I forget the website's name. Oh wait, it's like company. No, I forgot it, but I'll put it up here. And it basically has the whole syllabus in like a very specific breakdown from every single AP class. That's actually what I put into the other thing that I forgot the name of so that I could get all the information and have it be tidy, neat, but with all the necessary info. Make specific playlists. Okay, I do playlists. Hold up, I have a fire tip for you. I do playlists for every subject. And also, I chew like different gum flavors when I'm studying for those subjects. So it helps me get in like a very specific headspace when I'm listening to the same music. Maybe I'm burning the same candle and I'm chewing gum as I study. And it just makes me feel, honestly, it's just romanticizing studying again. I chew the same gum while taking the exam too, which helps. My last general tip is maintain your gradebook throughout the quarter. Don't goof off and then be scrambling for your teacher's help, who's gonna be annoyed at you regardless. Yeah, like no more excuses. There had to be something said about this. It's so easy to procrastinate, and I've been doing it all day because I didn't want to film this video. But at some point, you just have to buckle up and like know that it's gonna be difficult, but you just gotta do it, you know? That was the last tip. I hope you gained something from this academic weapon video, bro. Go you! You're gonna be a weapon this year. Thanks for watching, chat. Like and subscribe, or else you're gonna get all Fs. This has been my new method to get people to subscribe. Have a good day. I hope your school year is awesome.